Hello everyone, sorry for the long gap in posting Zoho Creator videos. Today I thought of building a game in Zoho Creator. Every Friday in our office, around 20 people will get together remotely and then play games and everybody will score points. For the next week, my team had asked me to build a song guessing game. For that, I've come up with a simple interface like this. I'm going to show you the code in a little bit. But let's guess the song. The song has 4 words and one of the word is me. Can you think of all the songs that has the word me in it? The next word is meaning. Me meaning, can you guess the song? The next one is the. Me meaning the, and then show. Me meaning the show. If you still can't guess the song's name is Show Me the Meaning. This is how I'm going to design the song guessing game. This is a pretty simple interface, nothing fancy, but I'm going to show you how you can use Zoho Creator to create this kind of dynamic interface and split the sentences into different parts and show and hide the values. So let's get on with it. First, let's understand the HTML. The HTML has 3 sections, one in the top section, the other is the word section, and then the bottom where we have the song title. The first section is going to count the number of words and then put that there. The last section is going to display the actual song title. Middle section is going to split the words by spaces and then put them in the boxes. Let's look at the HTML now. So this is my HTML file. I use Bootstrap and Google Fonts. So this is the file. It's just 100 lines long. If I collapse the styles, it's just 75 lines. And if I collapse it further, it's around 60 lines. So it's just 60 lines of code. I'm using Bootstrap clauses mostly. So let's get into the structure. First, we have the overall container wrapper. And then we have the first section. That is an H1 and that's 4 words. And then we have the next section that will contain those boxes. So each boxes will have these 4 boxes. Word 1, word 2, word 3 and word 4. This is the word boxes, and then we have at the bottom the actual name. Now if you've actually noticed the game, when you click on guess, I'm showing the text with a fade in animation. I'm able to achieve this by using this. I have an input, a checkbox, and then I'm displaying that word inside H1 and then I have a label. So when you assign an ID for the input value, you assign that ID value for a for value to the label. So whenever you click on the label, this checkbox would be checked. So this input box, this is like the decision box in the operator. So when you click on the label that has the value as its ID, this checkbox will be checked. This is useful because in styles in our custom classes, we can trigger CSS events by calling input type is checked. Let me quickly show you how it's done as well. Basically, I hide the input checkbox to show the checkbox and refresh it. Now this is going to give out a display like this. So you see it's checking that box to tell that checkbox out. I put it as display none because we don't have to display that field at all. Initially I want to hide this me text, and then when this is checked I want to display this. So this is done by setting opacity. Opacity means the brightness. It's completely dimmed. 0 means it's completely dimmed and 1 means it's fully visible. So what I do is that in the card title is the actual value, the class that is used on the H1. So in the card title, I set the opacity of 0. So when the page loads, all these card titles will have the opacity of 0. And then when the input is checked, when the input of equals checkbox is checked, and then right next to it, I take the card title. So right next to the input, I have the card title element, so I can call that. And then I set the opacity to 1, and then I animate a little bit with the fade in because we can apply like multiple animations, but I'm just gonna stick to fade in to keep it simple. So to apply the animation in CSS, we use keyframe and then use the fade in animation. And we can set the percentage at 0%. Opacity is just code. I'm not going to explain much on the CSS animation, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So we apply the keyframe fade in. We always set the opacity from 0 to 1, and then we do that in span of 5 seconds. So in 5 seconds, it's going to change opacity value from 0 to 1. So I have the design ready. Now I want to be able to be storing the song names. I want to go to my page. If I refresh it, I want to display the song. So how it's loading in 5 seconds slowly, right? Now the opacity is 1. For these texts, the opacity is 0. So I want to store the song in a field, and then I have to dynamically generate everything. So first let's create a form to store the songs. Let me create an application. Let's call it just the songs. I have to create the song list form, so let me call it song list, and then let me add a title. I will make it mandatory, and then I'll also add a decision box to skip the song once it is played or ready. So played as a decision box. So if it is true, then we will skip that in the next turn. The next person won't get the same song. Now let's create a page. So in our page, we'll go to snippet HTML snippets. Between these brackets, we'll include the HTML. So I'll take everything. I'll take everything from a code and then put it here and then save it. Now close it. Let's access this page and see if that works. In our guest, the song, I click on guest. The inside our HTML, everything loads fine. So this is like inside the Zoho HTML page, no JavaScript, nothing but pure CSS. Now we have to make everything dynamic. Let's add a few songs to our song list. So we added 4 songs, so I think that's fine now. Now, after adding the 4 songs, we have to make the song list dynamic. Instead of always showing the song, we have to show one from the song list. We'll go to the page builder now. We have the HTML snippet here. The indentation in Zoho Creator is not that good, so I'll copy this code and I'll put it in a text editor. So let me just create a new file, just a JSP. Since it follows the JSP style in text, I store it as JSP. If you have watched my previous videos, you would know that to write code in the HTML, you use the syntax to insert variables, you include an equal symbol. But we'll see that also in this tutorial. First, we have to take the song. Without the song name, we can't do anything. So what we'll do is, we'll go here within the container clause. So let's have the container loaded. So within the container, we'll load the song. For that, we are going to insert the script here. So just start and stop. We just open and close the script syntax. Now we have to first fix the songs. So my idea is we have the 4 songs. I want to take all the 4 songs, and out of 4 songs, I want to take a random song of these 4 songs. So I can do that by applying a random number function. I'll show you how to do that. First, let's fix the song on the song list. I'll call it a song list, and in the song list, we'll go to the song list plate equals force dot id dot get all function. So what it does is, this will take the record ID of each record and then put it in a list variable. So this will have values like something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. But it won't be single digit number. It would be like a 20-digit long number. It will have numbers inside the list, this long list. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take the size and then I'm going to get the random number. So what I will do, I will take it as songs, count as songs, list is list variables. We can use the size of this in function that will return the total number of elements within that list. So now I have the songs count. In our case, we have 4 records. So this will be 4. So out of 4, I have to pick a random number. What we will do is pick the random index. Index means the position. I'll tell you why I use the name indexed in a little bit, but anyway, so random song indexed will be there in a random number function. In Zoho Creators, you can take 2 variables. One is the start number, and then in numbers, I want to start with 1, and then the maximum number will be the songs count. So I want to pick a random number between 1 and 4. This will be when you load it first. So it may be like 1 or something, like it may be 3 or maybe even 4 as well. It can be 1 again or 2, something like that. It will give a random number between 1 and whatever the count is. In our case, it will be 4, so it will give a random number between 1 and 4. So now we have to select the random number indexed, and we have to select that random index value from the list. We have to take that ID out of the list. The indexed ID will be from the song list. What I'll do, I take the get random song index, but the only thing is this random song index. So in a list variable, normally the get off function, when you do a list get off, you can use the index. For example, if the song list is 1, 2, 3, and 4, the position of the song list is 1 is at the 0th position, and 2 is at the 1st position, and 3 is at the 2nd position, and 4 is at 3rd position. Whatever the values are, that doesn't matter, but inside the list, the first element always is at the 0th position. So in our case, our random number is going to be always from 1 to 4, right? So if we have 4, there is no 4th position, because it will be like 0, 1, 2, 3. When we enter 4, it will throw an error, something like index out of range or something. So what we should do is that, for that, I will deduct 1 from the list. So we will always get numbers between 0 and 3. Or I can do something like 0 and songs count minus 1. So I can do it this way as well. I can start from 1 to songs count and then reduce that value by 1 as well. Now we have the random song and also the random song ID, and it kind of auto populates, which also is amazing. So from the song list form, I compare the random song ID with the record ID and then take that value. So that is it. Now I take the random song. This is where I've written the script. So now I take it, I put it in the place to insert the script between the HTML. What we do is start with less than symbol, and then we start with less than symbol percent, and then we close it with percent, and greater than symbol but 2 instead of variable we include an equal. Now from the random song, we use a random song and the field name is random song title, and this is the code. It puts the selected random song, and let's just test this and see how it works. So we'll go to our HTML page. This saves it. There was the small error and I took it out. Now we go to the page, it put it on the H1. Now let me just quickly check and let's see how this one comes out. Let me go to the guess the song, and now it shows the song. That's because of the error. Let's quickly go and sort it out as well. Let me change it in the file also. So now I'm trying to rectify all the errors, and once I get that done, we'll get the correct wordings in the checkbox as well. After we do that, let me just quickly check. Now it says show the song name. So the song is Show Me the Meaning. I click refresh. The song is Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. I refresh. Now the song is Please Don't Stop the Music. I refresh again. Now it's We Wish You a Merry Christmas. Okay, now we know that this random selection of song works. Our next part is to split that into a list and then finish. Replace this 4 with this number of words. So for example, in this case, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. So this will be 6. So we'll take the size of this one and then we put it here. For that, what we'll have to do is we have the random dot song title. So the random song dot title, we have it as wordless, and that will be random song dot title dot to list. There is a to list function. What it does, it splits the text into a list by the separator we give. So we will separate the words by spaces and put them in a list. So that way these word lists will have 5 different elements in it. For example, in case of that we wish you a Merry Christmas, it will be like we wish you a Merry Christmas. So that would be the word list. Now we'll take the word count of the list. So it kind of autofills it as well. So let me just tap it. So it will be like word count will be word list dot size up. Since this is a list value, it can just take the size. Now I'll take the word count and replace this number 4. Since we're inserting a variable, not the script, we'll put an equal symbol and then input that word count. Let's save this. We have a 5-word song. So if I click on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's refresh. I have the 6-word song. This is We Wish You a Merry Christmas. If I refresh again, another 5-word song. That's again that, and then 6-word song and 7-word song. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now for each word we want to create a box. Let's see how to do that. And this box should also be random. We cannot just go in the same order, then it will become easier for them to figure out the song. So it should also be jumbled. So how do we do that? We go to the HTML. Let me first collapse a few scripts. We have the first top H1, which is already done. We have the words filled in at the bottom. We have the song title filled in and the show song. Now we can collapse that. In the middle part we have 4 different example boxes. Out of this I'll take out 3. I'm going to repeat this box for each word. So let me show you with just one box and let's see how that looks like. Click on that. It just says 1. Now remember the input ID should match the labels far. So first we need to repeat this particular box. How can we repeat this? We have to look through this word list, and before looking through this we have to do the same thing as 1. So the word list will be the song list, and from the word list we have to get a random word index. Instead of random song index, we create a random word index next. So let's see how to do that. First we have to create a random word index, and the auto suggest is doing amazing here as well. It automatically suggests me what I'm going to write. Now this is a GitHub Copilot if you're wondering how it does it. So a random word index is similar to this random song index. I'm going to take a random number between 1 and the number of words that random song title. I'm going to get a random number between 1 and the word account and then subtract it by 1. So I get the random word index and then I'll get the random word. So if I take this random word and put it in place of me and then guess the song, I get the word don't. And now I added extra and now I refresh it. I get music for the same song. It uses another box, right? So that kind of looks good. So now what we will do is after we use that random word, we'll have to take that random word out of the word list. So for that start, there is another function to get an element you use, get to remove an element, use remove and then remove a random word index. We have filled the random word for a single box. We have to repeat this box for all the words in that song. We have something called left pad in Zoho Creator. What it does is it creates a custom loop because we have to create a custom loop. If the number of words count is say 8, we have to repeat this operation 8 times, and if it's 3, we have to repeat it 3 times. So to do that, based on this number, we can use this left path syntax to create that custom list. Let's create a custom list. So this is going to be left pad that takes two arguments. One is that character that we want to insert, and then the count of the number of times we want to insert that character. The number of times would be the word count. We want to insert its word count. I think word count -1. The output of left pad is going to be a string. So it's going to be like this. If the number of words is 4, the output is going to be 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be 4 spaces. If it's 5, it's going to be 5 spaces. Now we have to convert this number of spaces into list by adding a to list, just like how we did here. So what I will do here is to list of empty spaces. So our custom list is going to be this one. Why I'm creating a custom list is that since we're going to be removing this random word from the word list, and the word list will reduce the size. So I cannot loop on this word list. That's why I have to be creating a dummy list, a custom list that I can loop through. So here I'm going to create a loop for each dummy. This is going to be a dummy list, so dummy value in our custom list. So now I'll take this, I'll finish the for loop and put it here. So this is going to run for the number of words we have within here. We have to repeat these 3 lines because we need the random words within that word list. After we take that random word, we have to take it out of that words list. So we'll take it and put it here. This word count will not be the same because when you remove something, the size will reduce. So we will use the size of at the runtime every time it comes to the loop. That will use that size here. Now we also need to be careful about this input at the label IDs and for values. So this has to be unique. So each output, each checkbox has its own ID. So for that, what I can do is I'll create a counter variable. So I'll start with probably 1 and I'll take that counter, use it in place of ID, and I'll put it for as well. And even for guess, instead of 1, I'll use that counter. So what we do is we've already updated the random word. Now in place of the ID value as well as the guess number, we introduce a new variable called counter. And now the next time it comes there, we have to increase the counter. So at the bottom of that loop, I'll increase the counter. So I'll take this, save it, and go to the page. It has a 6-word song. We have to guess that one. And then we refresh it. We have the 7-word song. Now when we click on the guesses, we have words like you, off, take, off, my, can't. So click on that. So for now on this one, we have to create an input ID as well. So for this checkbox and label, they should have their own ID, because if you look at the bottom, they have number 4, when number 4 is already used within this loop. So that's why it's playing with number 4. Whenever I click on the song name, it's replacing the 4 value. So in that case, it has to be 8. So what we'll do is at the end of this loop, the counter value will be 8. So we can use that counter value in this label as well. So we can take it and put it here. We refresh now, and then we'll be ready with the next one. For the next one, we have the 6-letter song. Everything is working. So it's a Christmas song. Let's see what that song could possibly be. It has words like A, Merry Christmas, and when we guess the song, it is we wish you a Merry Christmas. So now for the thing is, as soon as the song is used, we have to mark the song as played. Only then we would not use the song again. I refreshed it. So this one's showing some words like show the meaning me, and the song is show me the meaning. We get that when we click on show the song. So now, whenever I refresh the page again, this song should be skipped, and for that, we have a play decision box. We have to mark that field as true. So, you know what to do. So, what we'll do is we'll go to our page here. After we select our song here, we can select that random song dot played equals true. Let's copy the script, use it in our page, guess the song, and we'll do the next song. Now, this one is a 5 letter word, and the song is going to be please stop the don't music, and the song is please don't stop the music. Now that we've used this song, if you go to the song list report, it will show true. Next time when I load this page, it will no longer display that song. The next one's a 6 word song. If I click on show the song, it's we wish you a merry Christmas. If I refresh the song list, now this song is also marked true. That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed this little game. Sorry if it took too long for me to explain. Hope you learned something new. I'll also share the code for the system in the gist and then give the link in the description. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have interesting games built on Zoho Creators, please share it in the comment. I'll check it out. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.